you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today I am working on my favorite tool in the whole entire shop. If anything happened to this tool, I would have it replaced immediately. It's the Hobart 140 MIG welder. Now I'm going to tell you, this thing only uses 115 volts of electricity. So that being said, you can plug it into almost any outlet that is running 12-2 wire in it, and most of your outlets should have 12-2. You could just plug this welder in and start welding. And you know, when my son actually got into welding, got me into this welding, and it was years ago, and he said, "Get the 110, Dad, I think they work fine." So I got it, and instead of actually upgrading to a bigger one, man, this thing has done everything I ever wanted to do as far as welding, and it does a great job. I really love this little tool. So today we're going to be working on changing the wire. This is something you have to do pretty often, especially if you're using a 1 pound roll of wire or a 2 pound roll. Well, I keep a 2 pound roll on hand just in case I run out. Normally, this is what I put on. I pick up, this is a 10 pound roll. This is what I like to use, a 10 pound roll. We'll keep this. If an emergency and we run out on this, we got 2 pounds to get us through until we can go down and pick up another 10 pound. But today we're going to be putting the wire in, and I hope that I can show you a couple little things I know about the welder. Trust me, I'm not a professional at any of this. I enjoy doing it, and it's fun. So let's get to changing this wire. I wanted to answer a question that I'd gotten on YouTube, and somebody asked me, why don't I use the shield on here? There's a brass piece that slides over here. I have them here somewhere. But I don't use that shield because I don't use gas. The only wire that we use, all this wire that we use, is flux core. So you don't actually need a gas to run this welder. We can run gas. We have the gauges. We have everything to set it up. We even have the tank. Everything's here to run it on gas. But I don't need it. I see no need for it. Now, it is a little bit cheaper to buy the steel wire than the flux core, but I think it all kind of evens out. When it's all said and done, you pay about the same amount because you still have to buy gas if you use the cheaper wire. I would rather just use the flux core. I don't use any shield on here. I don't need it. I'm not shielding the gas. It's okay. And there ain't no use in me burning up them tips and having to replace them all the time. So I just use mine just like this. Alright, we're going to have a look on the inside of the welder. This is where the wire goes. And this roll of wire I have in here, this bolt come loose a little bit and kind of tangled it up. So there's just a very little bit on there. But we're going to go ahead and change this roll out because it wants to keep getting caught. There's not much to this. You have a little lever here. I'm going to loosen that up a little bit and just flip it down. And this relieves the pressure off of your wire. So I'm going to reach right here. I'm going to take me a pair of snippers and I'm going to snip that wire off right there. Now that we have the wire cut, we can go ahead and take this piece off. Now this piece right here, it has left-handed thread, so you're going to tighten it to loosen it and loosen it to tighten it. And we're going to go ahead and pull this off. As you can see, there's not much on there. It wouldn't go very far, so we're going to go ahead and discard this. I might keep this little spool for something. It might be nice for rope. So we can actually keep this and reuse it for something else. Okay, now that we have that clipped off in there, what I'm going to do is kind of roll out my cord a little bit. And then I'm going to take a pair of pliers, just needle nose pliers. We're going to go ahead and pull this wire through. We're going to discard all this wire. It seems like a lot of waste, but it's really not. So now all the wire is out of the machine. We'll roll this piece up. This stuff is really not good for much. It breaks very easy. You don't want to use it for a tie wire or anything like that, because it does have a flux core in the center. That's why I call it flux core, and the core of it is flux. So we're just going to pitch it. It's no good. If at this time I needed to put the 2-pound roll on, the only thing I would do is unscrew this nut right here, pull this guy out, and now my 2-pound roll will fit right on there. And the only thing I have to do is put the washer back on, a small spring, and the locking nut. That would be it. But we're not going to be using the small one. We want that 10-pound roll. Okay, so these bigger rolls are quite expensive. This roll right here was $67.90. After tax, it's just over $70 for this roll. It may sound like a lot of money, but when you're welding, it's not really a lot of money. I really like using the flux core. It's easy for me, and I'm pretty used to it. These things are quite heavy too. Okay, we're ready to mount the wire. We got it unboxed. We want to make sure that our wire is wrapped around this way. So we want to feed it off of the bottom into the handle. So we're just going to slide this one on. And don't forget this, you need to unloosen it to tighten it. So you're going to turn it counterclockwise to tighten it. Okay, now our spool is on there. I'm going to put my washer back on. We didn't have to do that for this process, but I did just to show you about the 2-pound roll. Now you're going to tighten this up. Now you don't want this too tight because your machine will not pull it through. It'll want to snag up on you and it's not cool. I don't like it. So now that we have our wire in place, there's a piece of paper. I'll loosen this up a little bit. There's a piece of paper on the inside of here. I'm just going to pull it off of there and discard it. And our wire is looped right here in the side. This is what we want to feed through here. Now, this size wire that I'm using is what they call an aught 30 wire, and I use aught 30 tips. And it's all flux core. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unhook this and get it fed through our handle. So I'm going to go ahead and just unloop this wire from where it's tied, and I'm going to be real careful that this spool does not spin, because if it spins, it's going to unravel and make a mess, and it's going to be hard to get it through your machine. So now I have this crooked piece here. I want to take my pair of snippers. I don't want to cut it straight off. I want to cut it in an angle. So we're going to go long ways with it and cut it. And what that does, it gives us a sharp point on there, so it will go through our tip and through our machine. So now we're going to feed it in, feed our wire in this hole here, and we want to get it in that tube right there. Can you guys see? Going to feed it through here, and now we want to go right into our handle. There's a little spring right there. We want to go right inside there, and then we're pretty much in there. We can go ahead, push this back down and snap that up. This allows so much pressure on the wire down here, so this little round thing on the bottom can feed it through. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to start up our machine and we're going to feed it through the handle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn my machine on, and when I'm squeezing the handle, you'll be able to see this down here, roller rolling, and you should see this round roll moving around. That way it pulls it through. So we'll get this set up to where we can get it in. Okay, now I have my trigger. So we'll turn it to on. Now we're going to squeeze our trigger. You can see both wheels rolling, that one over there and this little one down in there. What I'm waiting for is it to come through here. So we have our wire up here now. All we have to do is put our little tip on it. This is the 030 tip that I use. And don't forget, when I cut that, I took my clippers and I cut it in a slant at an angle like that. You can see how that's sitting on there at an angle, so it makes it more sharp. And then you can push your tip right down on there. If you cut that tip straight across like that, it doesn't want to go in as easy. So cut them at an angle, a little bit of an angle, like so. And now it goes right through there, no problem at all. And you're basically ready to weld. Well, as you can see, it's not really that hard to change the wire in the Hobart 140 welder, but I'll tell you, the 10-pound rolls, they last me a really long time. That's why I don't use the 2-pound rolls, because this 2-pound roll is pretty expensive. It's almost half of what that 10-pound roll costs. So the more you buy, the bigger roll you buy, the cheaper you can get it. So I just keep one 2-pound roll on hand in case that runs out and I'm in the middle of a project. I don't want to stop and go get wire. I'll have that. But I'll tell you, it lasts a very long time in this machine. Of course, we don't weld every single day, but when we do want to weld, you know, it's here for us to use. So if you guys have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Leave them in the comment section below. It's been just a little rough here. In December, Julie and I both had COVID. It got us down a little bit, and then we've been in the house. It's been cold. -1 here the other day. It was rough. But we're doing okay now, and we're starting to pick up a little bit more on the YouTube channel. So hopefully we'll have you a lot better videos going here, and a lot more of them. So I would like to tell everyone, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Until next time.